Hey, what is good, everyone? Today we're covering a super interesting topic for all you lazy cunts that don't want to work, and that's how to retire within 10 years with no money. Now, normally you have to be blessed with great genes, great parents, and have no self-respect, but in this video I'm going to teach you how any regular guy or girl can do it just like me. I haven't done it yet, but I'm saying like regular like me. Now, the core of this concept is so simple that I can cover it in this quick 15-minute video, but it's probably not going to be that easy. Don't believe me? Watch the video and escape the matrix. Now, if I can cover the whole topic in this 10-15 minute video, then you're probably thinking to yourself, if it's so easy, then why haven't 99.9999% of people done it already? And that's what we're going to be discussing in this video, because in reality, most people have no clue how to do it, because they're idiots. They don't have the resources to stick to it long term. They're lazy, degenerate, and impatient, addicted to instant gratification. So let's break through the notion that retirement is only something available when you hit the ages of 60, 70, 80s, when you have no kneecaps left, no back, and you're pretty much on your deathbed anyway. We're going to go over the exact blueprint that can get you to financial freedom in as little as 10 years with $0. Step 1, smash that like and subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm. Okay, it's not going to help you retire, but I really would appreciate it. Now, when it comes to increase your net wealth and actually being able to retire, it really makes no difference in how much money you make. Now, you might think I'm high off petrol because if you're making bad baby type money, then you'd probably be out in Miami snorting that white and popping bottles on a Tuesday morning. But when it comes to financial independence, the only thing that actually matters is how much money you're able to save. So many people make $300K a year, still living paycheck to paycheck with nothing to show for it, because they all spend it on Porsches and Belle Delphine's bathwater. On the other hand, some people make $80K a year and are able to save half or more of their income after tax to the point where over time they're worth more than the dumbass making $800K. If you want to know the secret to being able to retire in your late 20s, early 30s, is you have to live like you're broke no matter how much money you're making. It doesn't matter if you're working at Macca's, you run a successful AI OnlyFans agency, or you kidnap girls and fly them out to Romania like Andrew Tate. You gotta be like Steve Jobs. Even though he has one of the biggest companies in the world, he still wore the same ugly ass shirt every single day, and you ain't never find him out in Miami popping bottles. He was in Dubai because it's cheaper. That's a joke. That might sound extreme, but if you want to retire in 10 years, you really have to look more at your spending and not so much on your income. And that's rule number 1 to being able to retire in 10 years. Most people don't know that you can actually calculate how long it's going to take you to retire based on your income versus expenses. For example, if you spend 100% of your income on booze and e-girls, then you're never going to retire. However, if you save 25% of your income, you'll be able to retire in 32 years and maintain your current standard of living. If you save 50% of your income, you'll be able to retire in 17 years. If you save 70%, you'll be able to retire in 8.5 years. You get the idea. The higher percentage of income that you save, the faster you reach financial independence, and the faster you can do whatever you want. Now, when it comes to me, I've been a natural saver since out the womb. It probably has a lot to do with my parents' natural doomer personality and being very much the millionaire next door mindset, but I never really saw a point of wasting money, because to me, when I think of buying a non-essential item, I always see it as a time value. So instead of saying, oh, that hoodie is $100, I have $70,000, why does it matter? I see it as that hoodie is worth 3 hours of my time. Would I wash dishes for 3 hours and just do mind-numbing work just for that hoodie? No, I don't want it then. And you got to think of it even crazy when you're thinking of a car. Like, is that $40,000 Hellcat? Or if I'm making $30 an hour, is it worth 1,333 hours of my time, or 166 8-hour shifts? Boy, hell no. At the end of the day, the rich stay rich by living like they're poor, and the poor stay poor by living like they're rich. Step 2 is cutting back. If you really want to accelerate the timeline that you're trying to retire early on, you really do have to cut back your expenses. Even if you can cut back your expenses by 5%, you can end up retiring several years earlier. So every little bit counts. Now, most people hear this and think of cutting back as an episode of Extreme Cheapskates. They're cooking pizzas in their dishwasher. They sell their car and bike to work. They live in a shipping container, watchdog style, in some random shipping container yard. But you don't have to go to such extremes, except the watchdog thing. If you find out how to do that, let me know, because I'll come join you. There's plenty of ways to cut back on your expenses. For example, the biggest expense for most people is housing, which in some cases can consume up to 50% of your income. But there's a much better option that will always allow you to cut back, and that's join the military. You get free food, free housing. I'm kidding, okay? Chill. What you can do instead is house hack. This is where you buy a multi-family property like a duplex or triplex and you move into one side and rent out the other. You can also try buying a single family home and renting out some of the rooms to save in your cost of living. And typically when done right, the other units will cover the entire cost of owning the house. And all of a sudden you have a free place to stay. In order to do this, you do need to save a 10 to 20% down payment, but you could leverage that payment for pretty much free housing for the rest of your life. And if you don't have the down payment right now, you can also cut back on your cost of living by rent hacking, where you rent a house and then sublease out the bedrooms. Even though you're not going to own the place by doing this, you can still save the difference and apply some of that money to the next steps we want to discuss. In terms of everything else, it's pretty self-explanatory. Don't buy a brand new car that's going to depreciate like a rock. Instead, just buy a cheap, reliable, second-hand car that you're probably going to be able to sell for a similar cost when you're done with it. Like this little Mazda 3 I got. If you want to travel and that's important to you, try cover your flights and hotels by churning credit cards. Video on that coming soon, so like, subscribe. Make food at home. If you want to go shopping, wait for what you want's on sale. No one knows the difference between a $5 t-shirt and a $50 t-shirt. And on top of that, there's one more way to save money. Every time you want to buy something, just wait a week. 95% of the time you won't want it and you'll get rid of so many impulse purchases that you would have made otherwise. The third step is if you want to retire in 10 years, you have to absolutely stay away from high interest trade loans like credit cards. This is the kryptonite of financial independence. It goes hand in hand with cutting back. Most people don't realize how much high interest trade credit, medical debt, and student loans hold you back. For example, you need to pay 15 to 20% on your money every single year just to break even on any insecure debt, which realistically isn't going to happen. So if you want to retire in 10 years, you're going to need to eliminate this high interest debt faster than Adam 22 will let other men fuck his wife. But if you're not in debt, make sure you never get in debt. Make sure you never carry a credit card balance. Don't finance anything you can't afford, and stay away from debt that is not low interest, fixed rate, and tax deductible like a mortgage or a car payment. The only exception is debt that can make you more money by not paying it off, like a low interest mortgage payment on a property that returns way above on what the interest rate is, or a car loan that beats inflation. In those situations, taking on debt can actually accelerate your path to wealth. But unless that debt is attached directly to an asset that is making you money, it's probably not a good idea. Step 4, besides cutting back and saving, which is ultimately the foundation of financial independence, if you want to retire in 10 years, you're also going to have to invest. This is very simple in practice. And even though there's hour-long stock analysis on YouTube going over every single minute detail, for most people, the optimal way to invest is simply by taking advantage of a 401k or a Roth IRA. Just invest consistently with a percentage of your paycheck. Don't try time the market, and invest with a low fee in an index fund like Vanguard, Charles Schwab, or Beta Shares. And then all you have to do is be patient. I know TikTok is absolutely patience and attention span, but you just have to do it. Just buy and hold. Diamond hands. I know you've got it. However, in terms of how long this is going to take and how to accelerate that timeline, here is where things get slightly more difficult in starting with $0. If you want to retire in 10 years, you either don't have to make a lot of money or spend very little money. Pick one. For example, if you're making $70k a year, you could theoretically retire in 9 years if you live off $21k a year and consistently invest the difference. That will allow you to independently live with the same lifestyle after those 10 years. And you could obviously pick up a side hustle or a job that you actually enjoy. You don't have to completely retire, or you can start working on a business or something after those 10 years. But you'd really just never be obligated to work again. But assume you don't want to live on bare minimum. If you want a middle class lifestyle after 10 years, then the truth is you're not going to get there working a traditional job unless it's making you a ton of money. Now, if you're making a ton of money, congrats, must be nice. But it really just comes down to you living frugally, saving 65% for 10 years, and you're done. However, for everyone else out there who wants a shot at retiring in 10 years, making a lot of money, my advice is to work a career that pays based on your results, not your hours put in. The biggest problem that I see with getting paid with your time is that there's only 24 hours a day and you're capped. On the other hand, if you get paid on results, you should be able to find ways to make more money and streamline your work with things like AI or hiring employees or just being better. For example, if you're a real estate agent or YouTuber, all you have to do is find houses that you can sell quicker and that are in a better neighborhood that you can sell for more. Or if you're a YouTuber, all you have to do is get more views and be in a niche that pays more. It's really essential that you work in a career idea that pays you based on your results and not on your time. The second one of these ideas that really stuck in my mind from the book The Millionaire Fast Lane was that you have to live like a creator and not like a consumer. So for example, instead of watching YouTube videos, go make YouTube videos. Instead of buying shirts online, go make shirts online. Instead of not hitting that like and subscribe button, hit that like and subscribe button. You get the idea. You need to begin creating value and building something instead of just consuming everything. Except for this channel. This channel is an exception, so subscribe. And since everyone always really likes to be real specific with numbers, here you go. If you're 20 years old and want to spend $50K a year in retirement by the age of 30, then you will need $1,650,000 invested. That means you need to invest $93K a year and average an 8% on return on your money to hit that goal. If you can find a way to average $150K a year before taxes and live off $22,000 a year throughout your 20s, then you could be retired in 10 years and have a $50,000 a year salary in retirement. Now, some investments might help you speed up this depending on how involved you want to be. Like with real estate, if you're able to save up $50K, you could then use that to buy a house and renovate a $250,000 home. You find the right deal, then strategic renovation could increase the property's value to over $300,000, and within a year or two you would have doubled your money, and you'd also have a great property to rent out of. If you're able to do a deal like that every 10 to 12 months, then you could hit that retirement goal quite quickly. If this seems a little far-fetched to do on an $80,000 a year income, it's not. There's this guy called Rose Hart. I really recommend you look him up on YouTube. He essentially did that. $80,000 a year. He kept buying houses, strategically renovating them, renting them out, and now he has a massive real estate portfolio, and he never really had that much of a big salary. Okay, fine, but what about everyone that doesn't make over $50,000 a year? Because if you're not making over $50,000 a year, you're probably not saving too much money. And if that's the case, the only real advice I have to give you is you have to learn new skills, shop yourself out on the job market, and maybe look for side hustles. You just have to increase your income. And then you just work backwards to find out how much money you need to make and what you need to do to be able to retire in the time frame that you want to retire at.
I know this might be dark, Carl. Tell me something I don't know.
But the truth is, if you want to retire in 10 years, you're probably going to have to save 65 to 90% of your income. And just because you can retire on $50K a year at 30, that doesn't mean you should. Realistically, what you'd probably want to do is, now that you have that baseline of money, now that you've got your future set up and you're pretty much ready to retire, you can do whatever you want. You can pursue passion projects. You can go into a job that's probably a little bit more risky, or it doesn't pay as much financially, but you really enjoy it. Or just try grow your own business and get ultra rich if you enjoy that. But either way, man, if you guys enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and I'm out. See ya.